So, I'm Fraser,
I'm Kieran.
and this is our new podcast, Kieran and Fraser Versus. A brand new podcast, like I say, about all things coaching related, fitness related, bodybuilding, fat loss, all the ins and the outs, whatever. We're gonna have a chat about it. We'll talk about it, be a little bit off the cuff and whatnot. So, yeah.
Welcome to the pod.
All right, Kieran.
How you doing?
All right, yeah, you.
I'm good.
Good. So yeah, let's just go into a bit about ourselves, Kieran. Let's first off go into yourself.
Yeah.
Tell me
Kind of where I started.
Tell me a bit about yourself.
Well,
I want to get
it's
to
a
know
long
you.
story. So in terms of like finding myself training, bodybuilding,
Yeah.
a lot of my sort of background is like just based off insecurities and starting for that reason. So, long story short, kind of going on holiday first time with missus and all the family, a lot of the family. I was like, I'm meant to be a good footballer, but I don't look like I'm in shape for that. So
Yeah.
I need to kind of like get my shit in order, basically.
How old were you?
Back then, I probably been about 16, nearly 17, maybe just turning 17. And I felt like my physique just didn't match the sort of reputation with like the sports and the football.
Yeah. Was you skinny fat or was you just
kind
fat?
of skinny fat because I was good at sports. I was like good at running. I just never had like looked to people. I was like, how do they have abs all the time?
Yeah.
And
That's always the
doing
thing when you're younger, though, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
it's like you're just desperate for abs, aren't you?
Yeah, and I think
Just need abs.
it goes back to like my dinners would be like half a pizza, coleslaw, chips and beans. That made my
Like your mum's like lasagna. It's just like predominantly cheese.
Yeah, that's it.
A bit of pasta,
a bit of meat.
like the mince is like non-existent, is it?
Yeah. And that's kind of like it. And that's obviously when you look back at the reason why maybe I couldn't get in shape because of just how much I was eating and what I was eating. But yeah, it started with that. So kind of picked up the gym there and just found like a bit of a passion for it. But I was always very like sports focused. So everything was about being better at football or better at running at sports. Fast forward that a little bit forwards, I went to uni. I was doing accountancy and
Where'd you go to uni?
Nottingham Uni, uni of, and I was doing accountancy there, just not enjoying it. I was really trying it. I just couldn't get things to click, and I wasn't doing as well in the exams as what I should be really. So I did that for 2 years, and I just thought not enjoying this, and took a step back and thought, well, I'm gonna come away from it and do something I actually enjoy. So I just decided to do a PT course, a 6-week course in Sheffield.
Was it like a paid for, or was it?
No, luckily, as much as my granddad wasn't happy about me leaving uni and doing it, he funded it for me.
Oh, really?
And I did that, and then that was the start of it, really, and went to like a gym in Lincoln where I thought, because it's Lincoln, busy in the Scunthorpe, it'd be better for me. Actually didn't work out very well.
Yeah.
Ended up working on the desk at Rezo, as you know.
Yeah. Just backing up a little bit. You know your PT course. Did you feel like you've learned anything from your PT course?
I felt like I knew most of it. And then
it was fucking shit, wasn't it? It was shit.
The exam was multiple choice, so it's hard to go wrong.
Yeah.
You're 1 in 4 chance of getting it right.
I remember going into my PT course and thinking, like, following it and thinking, what has this got anything to do with PTing? Like, most of it was, I can't remember what most of it was, but it seems so like I left the course thinking I'm no better off in terms of knowledge. Like, any knowledge that I ever gained was purely through
Your
just
own
experiences, like trying things yourself.
That's what makes
and
a coach, isn't
and
it?
like trial and error pretty much, and listening to other people and seeing what sticks.
Well, funny enough, the guy that was teaching the course, he was like, this is basic stuff, like you probably know a lot of it, and he said what makes you a good coach is not the qualification, not this is like to cover you.
Yeah.
Like probably from insurance standpoint, but it was, a good coach doesn't just come from the course itself. Like you become a good coach with experiences and trial and error and having a passion for it. So that was like some good advice from that. But yeah, that's kind of where it started, and then obviously went on this journey of wanting to be a better example of my own business, so looking after myself and getting in better shape, and again like wanting to feel my whole thing was like I want to feel comfortable with my top off. And so as years went by, every year was better and better, but like I say, I all stem back to that insecurity of like not being proud of how I look and feeling confident how I look. And that's where it kind of started, and then obviously branched off into coaching. That was off a byproduct of not enjoying uni and wanted to do something that I enjoyed. Realised I liked working with people and I was passionate about helping people, and I enjoyed it as well, so it was just a natural progression from there.
When did you start PTing?
PTing, well, it would have been 9 years ago now, so come up to 9 years in April. So what year are we now? 26. So it would have been 2017, yeah. So yeah, it's come up to 9 years. I spent the first sort of 4 years coaching, and then lockdown kind of encouraged the online stuff,
Mm.
Which I think was good. I think being on the PT for, like, as you know yourself, like, it's a good foundation.
I think it's essential.
Yeah, like, to understand how to work with
I
people.
think it's like, it's, something was going to come on to a bit more later, but like with coaching and stuff, like being able to spot someone doing an exercise and know exactly what they're doing wrong, and knowing how to
correct that
to bring that over to them, say like what they need to now do to fix that. And it's such like an undervalued, like an overseen part of coaching that a lot of people don't have that experience on a gym floor. I think it's almost like, it must be like you've got to go through that. Like it's almost be like a qualification. Have you done 18 months on the gym floor kind of thing?
And the beauty of what you would have had though is as well, like you would have, because obviously we never had coaches when we were younger, so you'd have gone through a lot of trial and error, and like you'd have looked back at how you're doing stuff.
A lot of trial and error.
A lot. And like I always think there's some at points, like I was lifting a lot more weight at points years ago on certain movements when I realised I wasn't doing anywhere near the range of motion, you know, so I'm not actually stronger, I'm just doing stuff a lot better now. So them cues are important, and I think that's why it's important that you do spend time on the gym floor to understand actually it might not be anything that they're doing outside of the programme other than actually the training needs to be better.
Yeah.
Which, like you say, gets missed a lot because, you know, everyone just kind of jumps for the online coaching now where you don't really get to see that as such.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how it transpired to where I am now. Like I say, up to 9 years since leaving uni, it's been good. So, what about yourself? Where did you start?
Where did I get into it?
So I know you started obviously coaching and PTing.
I started PTing at the start of 2022, so over 4 years now. But I started originally getting into the gym. I was at John Leggett College in Scunthorpe, and my mate used to go with me. And my mate was like, he was pretty big for his age. Like for a 16-year-old, he was pretty big. And I don't know if he'll watch this, but you know who you are. And he was always like considerably stronger than me. Like at 16, he was like benching like 100 kilo.
It's pretty mad. It's like the pinnacle, isn't it?
Yeah, that's like you've completed fitness. If you can bench 2 plates, it's like
you've made it. You're done,
bro. Just give up now. Yeah. I remember looking at it thinking, fuck, like, I really want to do that. Like that seems so. It just seems so cool. It seems like masculine almost.
Yeah, that makes sense because you've always had a passion for like power, like.
Yeah. I've always like really enjoyed like squat benching and deadlifting and stuff, but yeah, it started off similar really to you. I always had that sort of skinny fat type build. I played a lot of football and a lot of sports as well, so I wasn't necessarily overweight, but yeah, just nothing on my frame, and I was just like, and to start, I was like, abs. I need abs, because at the time I was a virgin, and I just had the chances of women were just like non-existent. I thought, if I get abs, this is going to change my odds like massively in my favour. And so I got into it. I was probably, first year of college, I think, so 16. And I got into it, and I just started to, you start to make those first gains, don't you? You start, because you make gains pretty quick when you first start. You start to fill out a little bit, and you're like, wow, actually, I can see a bit of a bicep. Yeah. And then sooner or later, it was less so a case of chasing abs, and more so a case of like just chasing strength more than anything. Yeah. It was just enjoying like going up that next pin, that next.
The progression's so quite quick.
It's linear.
It's exciting.
Yeah. It's just like
so steep at the beginning.
It's quick. Yeah. And I just got addicted to that feeling really. So for the first from 2016 up until 2021, it was just a case of just like trying to bulk, trying to cut. I remember for my first year, training was like religious, like 4 times a week, like really on top of that. But I never paid any attention to nutrition like whatsoever. It was like, I'll eat a couple more eggs.
Yeah. As long as the protein's there, that's all right.
I'll eat a couple more eggs. Whatever. Like, I'll still have some crunchy nut in the morning, but I'll just have a couple more eggs now. That'll do the trick, kind of thing.
You believe every myth going as well.
Yeah.
I remember one of my mates was in shape, and he was like, his breakfast was like beans mixed with tuna and like cheese, and then that was it. And he called it like a slap or something like that, like a slap of beans and tuna. But and I was like, I'll do that then, and it wasn't working for me. But
yeah. So. I didn't pay any attention to nutrition that first year. I probably stayed about 70 kilo for like the full year. And then finally, after a year, I sort of looked in the mirror and thought, I'm not actually that much big. I'd put on a bit of muscle, but I wasn't like that much bigger. So I was like, right, I'm going to start paying attention to nutrition now. So I started properly bulking. I put on like a good like 2 stones that year. 2 stone that year.
How
And
old was you at this point?
How old was that?
Yeah.
So I'd gone. So I was 16, going on 17. So it was like just before I'm turning 18. I'm like, right, I'm not seeing much progress. Right, I'm gonna start to bulk properly. And then I probably did numerous bulks and cuts. So I'd started originally at about 70 kilo, and I think by 2021, after probably 3 or 4 bulks and cuts, I was about 100 kilo. That's where I peaked at, and I'd done that. I'm not gonna lie, that 100 kilo was a bit of a dirty bulk. I'm not gonna lie.
You had a big dirty
We've all
bulk.
done that. I remember having like mass gainer shakes at like 10 o'clock. And by the way, we're not advocating
using them.
Mass gainer shakes are terrible.
Unless you wanted to go straight through you.
Yeah. But like I remember at 10 o'clock at night, and I'm making like a 2,000 calorie shake, and I'm like glugging it down. Like, yeah, this is hardcore training kind of thing. I'm just thinking, I'd put on a bit of fat. I'm not gonna lie, but I was able to put weight on, and through just being really consistent with training, I managed to put a lot of muscle on. And then probably about 2021, I actually got first time I got actual professional help, got a coach myself.
I remember that, yeah.
Because I wanted to go down the route of competing. So I've been training for 5 years at this point before I even considered competing, because I wanted some muscle behind me first. So then 2023, I did a bodybuilding prep. Shit, I really didn't like it.
I think you did well though.
I did well. I did well. I won a show at the PCA Manchester one, and but to me it wasn't that. I think with bodybuilding it's like you love it or you hate it. Like some people finish that first show and go, I love it. Like you, I'd imagine you really like that feeling of being on stage. And
well, you probably agree with this, but maybe you lost the fun in it. But like, I enjoy the process of it.
Yeah.
Probably be more of that than the actual being on stage. Whereas now I kind of enjoy the stage and the routines and an art to it. But the actual process of doing it, like I kind of think I would do it anyway, even if I wasn't competing. So I enjoyed that. But I think for you, my assumption of it might be wrong, but because you enjoy being strong and lifting heavy, when that starts to drop,
I think that was it.
That's where the enjoyment starts to go.
Yeah, because my enjoyment from training all came from being strong and really enjoying my lifts and stuff like that. And then when you start to see that dissipate, and even though I had a good physique, it was like I look the best I've ever looked right now, but my training's shit, so I don't enjoy it kind of thing. Yeah. Like that was like my my attitude towards it. So I finished that, and I was like, I'm gonna start sort of veering towards trying to establish more sort of balance in my lifestyle and enjoy my training. And because my mates are all like quite sociable mates, they drink and stuff, and I wanted to sort of have that lifestyle, but I still wanted to have a good physique, and I still wanted to be strong and stuff. So I'd say that's when I sort of started to transition then, and then apply that more into my clients and stuff. Like I say, I started PTing obviously at the same gym as yourself, Rezo. From 2022. That's where I trained as well from a young age. Transitioned into, I was already online coaching.
You wasn't you? But you did
just on the side, sort of like I only had a few clients.
I think you was kind of building like a portfolio, weren't you? Like,
I guess so.
Get you into that space.
And then about halfway through 2023, I went fully online into it, and obviously been doing that since, like yourself. But
when do you like? I think we've probably all had a moment where it probably takes a lot to get to. When did you feel like you was like, I look at myself as like, I'm a bodybuilder, I've got a physique now, if that makes sense? Like, when did you feel like that?
As in the sense that, like,
you was content with how you look, you go on holiday, you feel confident, like, because for me it took a long time.
Yeah. How long do you think you say?
Well, obviously I've been coaching 9 years. I'd probably say, realistically, probably until I did my first show, which would have been 2021. No, God, no, it's way earlier than that. God, 2019.
2019.
Yeah, 2019. And I think this is the first time I've genuinely been in shape. And then obviously I kind of knew how to hold it a bit better after that, and went on holiday feeling better. But I'd even say until even the last couple of years, that's where my confidence has really come.
Yeah.
So yeah, it took me a good 5 or 6 years into like doing coaching and training to actually think, I feel good in myself, and maybe people actually look at me and think I'm actually a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
But yeah, when was that for you?
I'd say probably 3 or 4 years in is probably when I started to feel like I've actually I've made substantial progress. I could take my top on holiday and I feel good about myself. It took me a good few years, I'd say. I would say I never felt too much insecurities and stuff. I think I'm just someone who I don't care too much about other people's opinions.
You don't come across as like even if you had a bit of body fat, you wouldn't be that bothered.
Yeah, so much, I like, don't get me wrong, I care a little bit about what people say, but not to the extent where I let it affect me too much. So I guess after a few years in, I was pretty content with my physique, but I was never quite satisfied.
You always want to progress it, but you can have an element of like satisfaction with it.
Yeah. You're always like thinking you can always be a little bit bigger.
I think it's interesting because obviously you talk about like your enjoyment from training. So obviously that's like stems from like being stronger, lifting weight. Obviously partly how you look, but generally like getting stronger. Whereas for me, it was always about how I looked. So like the strength side of it, it was nice to get stronger, but it would always be like, how am I looking? And I think that comes from the obsession of like feeling insecure about how I looked. But that's where like you can see how like maybe why I'm enjoying bodybuilding and competing, because it's always the look side of it that's kind of the big, overarching factor of what you get judged on. Whereas with you, like you liked feeling strong, so maybe didn't like it as much when you got to the depths of prep, I suppose, where you either have less calories, be weaker. So but obviously it's quite obvious. I think it shows like the interest in training from the backgrounds that you have.
Yeah, I will say like in terms of like I'd say what a big goal of that is, and that's something I've only achieved in the past probably 18 months, and it's a goal that a lot of my sort of clients, I mean I specifically work with lads in their 20s, in their 30s, trying to sort of achieve that lifestyle of having balance in their life with alcohol and cheat meals and whatever, but still having a good physique and being strong in the gym. And I'd say it took me only till, like I say, 18 months ago, so, and I've been training nearly a decade now, of actually establishing that balance.
Yeah, living that lifestyle.
I feel like that's hard to achieve, like for a lot of people, like not feeling guilt around cheat meals, around alcohol and stuff, and knowing that it's all in moderation kind of thing. Like I think it's as well like managing expectations.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you've got the expectation of, well, I want to drink every single weekend and get like pretty blathered, but I also want like a really good physique and I want to be really strong.
Might be hard to balance.
Maybe change your expectations a little bit, because that's probably not going to happen. If you go with the attitude of, well, if I want to have a night out every 6 to 8 weeks or whatever, and then between that, I'll just make sure that I'm pretty disciplined in all the other aspects. You'd probably be able to achieve a decent level of physique. I think for a lot of people, it's managing expectations, because I think a lot of people need that instant gratification. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like expecting results too quick.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of why appeals of like 8-week shreds, 6-week shreds.
Yeah.
Are so appealing to people online, because they see that and they see, well, I want to get results.
Well, it's only 8 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only 8 weeks. Like,
I think with stuff like that, though, people need to look at like, and there's nothing wrong with doing it if the angle is this, but like, if an 8-week or 6-week shred is there, but that's to like lay foundations for you, as opposed to be like your end results there after 6 weeks. If you think that's going to happen, that is unrealistic. Yeah. And if you do happen to get a position that you're happy with, it's probably likely unsustainable, isn't it? So
because more than likely the results that it took you to drop that 10 kilo in 8 weeks or whatever, you probably had to be tanking cardio and your calories have got to be really low. And then, like you say, that's not a sustainable lifestyle for a long period of time. And then you just end up 8 weeks down the line, you're back to where you're back to square
That's exactly
one.
like why I think it should never be like the end result is this. Like from the 8 weeks, it should be like the setup to like learn good habits, routines, which you probably do with your own clients. Like say, learn how to be able to have plans and go out and drink, and then make sure the routine's back and locked in the next day.
Yeah.
And like, what you might say to someone in that like if they're doing 8 weeks, for example, they're not going to be at that end goal, but they're going to be able to build the platform to get to that end goal. Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, I think that's a thing with alcohol that I say to my clients is that I think alcohol itself isn't the nemesis. It's not the devil. It's how it affects the days following.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you go out and have some drinks and whatever, that alcohol itself, it might dehydrate you and stuff a little bit, but the drinks themselves aren't going to be super damaging. It's if you're completely writ off on Sunday, and then it affects Monday, and it might even affect a little bit of Tuesday. Your appetite's gone. You just want to mong out. You want to lay in bed.
Half a week out.
Yeah, you that's it. You've let one event affect like 2 or 3 days.
Absolutely.
That's where it's had its biggest effect, because now you've missed out on a lot of meals. You've missed out on training. You've missed out on sleep. Like that's, I'd say, where alcohol has its worst effects.
Has an
Whereas
knock-on
like
effect.
if you can go out and have a few drinks, next morning you get your meal in, you get rehydrated, you have some electrolytes, you get back into your day, you get out, you go out for a walk or whatever. I don't think it's like super detrimental.
Well, it's not, because it's not becoming a problem, is it? It's just something you've intentionally done.
Yeah.
And then it's ended, and then you've gone back to normal. But like you say, if it's unintentionally impacting days and days after, you have to either reconsider how much you're doing or how often you can do it, because it's just having a bigger impact. But yeah, absolutely. I think, like you say, it's realistic expectations, but obviously understanding the process of, like, one, how to get to that physique, and two, how to sustain it. So if you're doing something that, you know, very short term, but think it's going to be something that can last, but it took a hell of a lot of work to get there in that short space of time, and a massive tip on the scale of balance, then it's unrealistic to expect that's going to be something you can do for the foreseeable. So, but yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Cool. Let's go into muscle gaining.
Yeah.
Let's go into that for
The big question.
Because I feel like there's a lot of people watching want to gain muscle, especially men and women. I feel like, well, I know a lot of my client base is, like I said, predominantly lads. You coach men and women, don't you?
Men and women.
But you coach competitors as well, so obviously muscle comes a lot into place with that.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think, if you could pin it down to like a couple things and you could stress the most, like what would you say with gaining muscle?
Well, I think in terms of a habit perspective, it's actually spending enough time in a surplus or enough time doing the process to build muscle. Like, I think when people come to fat loss, it's like instant gratification. You see changes weekly. The likelihood of building muscle is that you're not going to see that. So you need to be consistent enough for a long enough period to actually like see the benefits of building muscle. So spending long enough in that phase is the crucial one for me.
I think that is a massive thing, yeah, because I feel like a lot of people will like go into a gaining phase and try and build muscle or something like that, and they're only going to be in it for maybe. But I've got a holiday in 6 weeks, so I kind of want to
do it quick.
Yeah, I was cut off. I'll just game for like 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something like that.
That's kind of like where, as a coach, you say, actually, is it better just to go all in on a fat loss phase and set yourself up better for a long-term growth phase? Because, like you say, you know, even people with elite genetics, if they do a 4-week growth phase, they're not gonna not gonna grow at all. So like, well, very minimal anyway. And like, you know, to see progressions in the gym, you need more time than that. So definitely the time spent doing the actual phase itself is the thing I think is missed.
I think enjoying your training is quite a big one as well, because something I come across a lot is people who've like either got like the perfect split, whatever that they've pulled online, or they've been told X, Y, and Z. But ultimately, like, enjoyment, I think, is a massive factor into your training, because obviously, if you're enjoying it, you're going to put more effort in.
Like, apply yourself.
I know full well from when I was younger, in that my training split might not have been super optimal. I fucking hate that word, but it might not have been super optimal. But like I say, I fucking loved that shit. I die for that shit.
Do you ever feel like
I'm saying
looking back to like when you was training younger, it was kind of like stress free. Like the noise wasn't there. What you have today, like obviously there's a lot on social media about certain ways to train. This is better than others, and push pull or
too much information.
Back then you kind of like, I'm just gonna go in and work out. And like, have fun with it. And I actually, that's kind of how the training switched for me again, because I kind of lost it a little bit. I was kind of like, this is how it needs to be done. I need to stick with this because I keep pushing through it. But I was enjoying it. I always enjoyed training, but I didn't love it. So changing my training a bit just to go back to like chucking a drop set in, and then seeing all the optimal haters jump on me straight away from it. Like just because I wanted to. So the enjoyment comes back, and that's where I apply myself more. And exactly like you say, like I actually think the love of training is probably the biggest thing, because one, you're going to stick at it if you love it, and you're going to have longevity in it, which you need if you want to build muscle. And you're going to apply yourself to full intensity, and like if it becomes an enjoyable part of your day, it's just routine. Whereas if it's a chore, it's like I want to shoehorn this thing in place.
And the thing that made it the most optimal split in the first place is no longer optimal, because you're not able to put you're not put the enjoyment and the effort into it that makes it
so it's not
optimal in the first
so
place.
If we're going to use the word optimal again, which I don't like,
but every time someone says optimal, I'm
but the main cue has to be for it is enjoyment.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Or like the individual's ability to be able to perform it as well. But again, that stems to enjoyment massively.
I remember when I was younger, like my leg day routine, I can remember it clear as day, because I pride myself. I think you pride yourself as well. Big quads.
You've got good quads. Should have called it the QuadCast.
Yeah, the QuadCast. Fucking hell. Welcome to the QuadCast. But I pin my leg training down to just fucking hammering squats.
Yeah.
I used to go into the gym for my leg day routine. I'd go in, squats, 3 sets of 3, 3 sets of 5, 3 sets of 8 to 10. I'd sit there and do 9 sets of squats.
It's a bit of overtraining.
It would take me about an hour and a half to get through all of this.
You enjoyed it, obviously.
I fucking loved it. I loved it, and then I'd maybe do a couple leg extensions and some calf raises and go home, and that's why I have poor hamstrings. But I'd put it down because I got under the bar. I got good at just foundation. I think that's a big thing as well. Is that a lot of people don't know how to do basic lifting, a barbell row, a barbell squat, an RDL.
They don't
deadlift,
and that's the thing. Like, you know, some people, and it's okay because some people might not be confident enough to use certain pieces of kit.
That's true. Yeah.
If you're going to jump on like a hack squat, as much as like you can get some good depth because your back's supported and it helps encourage that, but you're never learning like the technique and cues of like an actual squat. So
like bracing and
like being able to push your hips back and up your knees up and things like that, because you kind of force through the movement, can't you? Same with leg press, which again in their own right is great movements, but like being able to do the foundations of being able to squat well, you know, bench well or press well and row well, like
machines and stuff are like the good stepping stone.
Absolutely.
To the next level kind of thing, like say doing a hack squat or something, like getting used to being in that level of knee flexion, that level
spending
of depth.
time in the positions.
Yeah. And then I think people are quite reluctant to like say go into the nitty gritty and do a barbell squat and a deadlift and stuff. And I think that's because a lot of time they're hard.
They're hard, and also being downplayed. Like I get it asked quite a lot, and you know, not blow my own trumpet, but people ask me what I do for my chest training.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for the last 10 years, like at least 6 or 7, I only changed it because I decided to change it, but I bench press throughout all of it. And I've always been a pretty good bencher, and like, you know, I see all these things on Instagram, like they do polls, like, you know, like A, B, C, and D, and they categorise like how good a lift is for chest, for example, and bench press is always in D.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's not.
Well,
like,
it doesn't necessarily converge, and it's a fixed path. So really, you know, you should be doing something more like a cable.
It's a spot on.
Fuck off. No.
And well, that's the thing. Like, for me, it was such a good movement, and I can do it, and I engage so well. So it's like that was like the bread and butter for me for training. And like, you know, like squatting, I've always squatted, whether it be a different form on a Smith machine, a barbell, whatever it may be. But I've always been a decent squatter. And funny enough, the two things we enjoy are probably the two strong aspects of our physique. So you know, squat and bench. So it's I think, like you say, everyone with the nuance of what training is now. It's kind of like you have to follow the crowd of what is that era or that time. And whatever everyone else doing, you need to do the same. And if you don't do that, you feel like you're going to miss out on the progression in your physique, which is far from true. And as you say, boils back to just the enjoyment of training. Whatever you enjoy doing, you're always going to apply yourself more. And that can be with business, your career. Like, it's always the enjoyment aspect. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like you won't do things that you don't like, because there's training things, there's body parts in our sessions that we don't like. I mean, I find arms boring.
Yeah.
But they need to get done. It's a weak part for me. I need to do it.
I find arms boring.
You
know, when you're younger, like
you
to
want
me,
to do arms all the
like,
time.
I love training arms. When can we train arms again?
Yeah.
Let's cut this back session early and let's train some more arms.
Yeah.
Let's
Gym's that
let's
way.
yeah. Is it leg day, Sam? We'll do some bicep curls to start with then. And then as you start to mature, you start to sort of like move away from it, don't you?
You do.
Like training biceps to me is the most boring thing that I could possibly train in the gym.
I think for me, I just had to chuck it at the start of the session so I don't miss it.
Yeah.
It is, and like, the only way it's going to get better is by doing it, isn't it? But like what I'm trying to say is we still have to do things we don't like. I'm not saying, you know, training is always going to be fun throughout the whole session, but the general idea of training and doing that session has to entice you. It has to make you want to look forward to doing it. And like training, other than obviously seeing my kids, Hannah, is my favourite part of the day. So, you know, like, and that's why I'm doing it 10, 12 years down the line.
Yeah.
So, and if people want that and they want that long-term change to physique, like I say to you, it felt like it took me a long time to establish a physique that I consider, like, people look at me and go, oh, he's a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And I still only just feel like that now. It takes time. So if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be doing it now. I certainly wouldn't be coaching either.
No, definitely. Yeah, I think, you know, a good technique, sort of got a side note here, about not seeing the gym as a chore that I use with my clients is, I think, have you read the book Atomic Habits?
I haven't. No,
It's quite a good book. It's worth a read.
I have to read it.
There's a technique in it called pointing and calling. I think it's pointing and calling. Basically, it's like saying you're going to do this at this time and this day. And this is just for a quick one for anyone who struggles establishing routine, establishing getting to the gym and stuff like that. And it's saying, like, okay, I'm going to do this at this time in this location.
Yeah.
And you almost say it out loud, or you write it down or whatever. And it's something that I use my clients, like get them to drop me a message or whatever, just to say what they're going to do. So I'm going to train push at 7 p.m. on Monday at the gym. Yeah. I'm going to train Wednesday legs at 10 a.m. and just saying it, just like
a bit of a manifestation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like I've said it now. I've written it down. I've got to now hold myself accountable to that, as opposed from you getting from work and you're just a bit like,
should I go?
Shall I?
Yeah.
Shall I not? Shall I? I'll doom scroll for a bit. I'll
it's
do it
very
tomorrow.
50-50 it's going to happen.
Yeah. Whereas if you know, oh no, Wednesday's push day.
Yeah.
And I train at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays, you're much more likely to get it done.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing of structure, isn't it? I always bang on about this, but structure creates freedom, and like because you stick to a timeline, you actually realise you've got more time.
Yeah.
And obviously the biggest thing
spend
for
a lot less time procrastinating.
And a lot of the people I work with, being a dad, just competitor in business, and I kind of like to focus on like parents or people with the similar problems with just being busy. And I know full well when my structure's off, I feel like all my time's running out. Whereas if my days, I follow my routine of the day I've planned, I feel like I get to the gym, I've got loads of time.
Yeah.
So and that's the big thing is like, I don't have time to train, don't have time to get in shape. But it is a structure. So like you say, saying this is going to happen at these points on these days, at this place, you do it, you realise, it's actually not as hard as what you thought. So
yeah, it helps. Trust us.
It does.
We're professionals.
Yeah.
You know what we're talking about. But yeah, no, it's it definitely is quite important. But just going into like coaching people and stuff, just going back to what we were saying earlier about coaching, because you've been coaching. How long have you been coaching online?
Online, it'll be coming up to. Well, it'll actually be 5 years now.
5 years.
And then obviously coaching and PTing in general, it'll be 9 years in April.
Yeah. But just touching on that and like going back to how valuable like gym floor experience is going into coaching stuff, because I feel like at the moment there are a lot. There's a widespread nuance. Is that the word? There's a spawning of an abundance of like online coaches and stuff that you see popping up. And don't get me wrong, I encourage it, like, because everyone should be able to give something a punt and try and sort of start a business.
If
they're passionate, they enjoy it, then definitely give it a go. However, there is definitely a surplus of people who are probably just not qualified to take someone else's life and nutrition and training into their hands.
The problem with it is they create a bad experience for people that potentially go to them, and then they kind of put every coach on the same bracket after that.
Yeah.
And it ruins their experience, but also the opportunity for other people as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, like the like it seems like the criterion nowadays to become an online coach is very, very, very minimal. It's like
there's no barrier for entry though, is there?
Have you lost 8 kilo in the past 6 months?
Because I have.
Yes, you can become an online coach.
Yeah.
Congratulations! Like stamp of approval.
Yeah.
And it's like online coach in the bio and whatnot. And it's like I say, the barrier seems like less and less and less and less.
But there is no barrier for entry. Like, some people aren't even doing courses to do it.
Yeah.
And like we say, the course isn't going to teach you how to be a good coach, but it kind of is if you want to cover yourself for insurance, you want to do it properly. Like, it's just a.
It shows that you're taking it seriously.
Procedure
as well.
It should be, and like we were saying, like, I think most coaches should spend time on the gym floor. Well, if not all, but the only reason I say not quite all, because there are some great coaches who are like just so embodied in like training, they've done it for years, they've had experience, they've worked in and around people. Like there's plenty of them who I'd say, like, they're kind of more than qualified to be a coach.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who haven't had that, haven't trained for very long, maybe have got in shape for the first time in their life, and haven't spent the time sort of learning what the whole process is about.
I think that's so valuable. Like I say, just like being on a gym floor with someone and picking apart their RDL or picking apart their barbell squat, and because like I say, if it comes to online coaching and someone sends you a form video, you want to be able to communicate how they're gonna
The
fix
cues,
that exercise.
Yeah. And actually looking at someone, and like you said, we can kind of look at someone and go, well, that's off. We
Yeah.
need to change that, or
Yeah.
if we can't change it, we need to do some work to be able to perform that move, like with ability and stuff. So you can see that with a video, but if someone's never actually been in person and seen that, they may not. And we're not saying this for everybody, because there are some people that just have a great eye for it and they can see it, and they can be coached in their own right. That's not a problem. But like for the most part, if you haven't spent that one-to-one time with people, it is hard to understand people. You know?
Yeah, I think as well on the side of like I say, because when you do coach someone, you are taking their nutrition to your hand. You're taking pretty much a lot of their aspects of their life into your hands.
Well, you're the full-time coach, but
And-
I'm always seeing them in person.
And it seems at the moment there seems to be a trend of clients that I've taken on board, clients that I've spoke to, or sorry, people that I've spoke to, like it seems like a lot of people have eating disorders, and like people's like perceptions of fat loss and stuff, and it's like it's skewed. It's like it's almost a bit scary really, because like I said, I've coached people in the past and like just like they think that they can't have, if they have a cheat meal, that I'm gonna fucking bollock them.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, why would I bollock you for living your life? Kind of
No.
a little bit like.
And not everyone can be that prepared either. Like, I actually literally have a client a couple of days ago. I won't say who he is because it's his obviously personal life, but like he's due to have a baby, his partner, and he's like, "What should I do?" I was like, "Mate, if you have to like just eat the hospital food or whatever, like take some food if you can, but like if you have to eat the food there because things change, you have to stay there longer." Like, that's the most important.
Your
thing, is that
priorities
baby.
shift
Like,
massively.
Yeah.
If you've got someone else's life to look after, like yours is gonna have to like
Exactly, and
like you shouldn't have to be thinking
you
about
have to
meal prep.
understand, and I've seen it on social media where a coach is kind of like, I'm off to hospital, I've got all my food prepared, I'm off for surgery, like you should always be prepared, there's no excuse. Whereas like from my own experience a couple of weeks ago, like my son had to go to hospital. I was like, I didn't think, what meals do I need to take him? I was like, I need to get into hospital.
You're telling me you didn't have your meal prep?
I didn't, and I can tell you now, my own
guy.
coach Tom, he's brilliant, because even when I was like Max was being born, he was like, if you have to have a few Mars bars and a packet of crystals to keep some calories in, do it.
Yeah.
And that for me is I think the sign of a great coach who actually understands the situation, is speaking to the person,
Understanding the client.
understanding the client, and where they're at. And like I say, this person was like, you should always be prepared regardless if you go to hospital. Like if I went to hospital for more my son and my wife, like my only thought was, I need to make sure he's okay.
I need to make sure my
Food,
my wife
everything.
is okay, my child is okay.
My personal goal was for that moment,
Yeah.
we're going straight to the back, and it would have stayed at the back of my mind.
Your alarm
until
doesn't
that
go
was
off like
sorted.
in labour and go, sorry babe, I know you're
Session.
about to give birth, but I've
First
got to
day's calling.
microwave this chicken and rice right
Yeah.
now. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Yeah, just can everyone pause?
yeah.
Come back in
yeah.
my Tupperware.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Well, my coach is going to be pleased with me at least.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Tick that box.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's just, these are real people. It's real life. Like coaching is real life. So I think to get the best out of clients as well, like you need to understand who they are, where they are, and what they're coming from, and the situations they're in, and try to adapt for that. And I'm not saying you have to give everyone an easy ride, because there are some people that just want an easy ride, and you just tell them that their excuse is okay. But realising what is a genuine situation, and then support with, and not to be like hammered down for not having a meal on plan or a couple of meals is important. But yeah, that's but as I say, some people maybe will pressure that situation, and that's where negative connections with food stem from.
Yeah. Like I say, because if the coach themselves has a fucking eating disorder, and they can't
they don't know how to regulate it.
They don't know how to regulate it. Then they're only gonna project onto their clients the same thing. They're gonna project a lifestyle client whose goals are to get in a little bit of shape for their holiday coming up, and they just want to look a bit better. They want to feel more
good,
confident, and then before they know it, they're doing fasted cardio every single day. They're doing you know what I mean? They're living a bodybuilder's lifestyle.
It's just understanding kind, because there's nothing wrong with the fasted cardio, is there?
Yeah,
if
yeah.
that person's got the time and they're happy to do it and it works well for the day,
That's it.
brilliant.
Yeah.
But like some people just can't, so it has to be different. And you're kind of in an era where some people say, well, if you can't do that, you're not committed enough. You don't want this enough. Like, and it's far from true. They just need a way to do it their way.
Yeah.
And
my
like
way or the highway kind of thing.
Yeah, and we talked about it obviously the other day. It was like bodybuilding has come for a long part has been doing it how others need to do it or dignified need to do it, whereas bodybuilding should always be about doing it your way, because that's the enjoyment aspect, that's the fun, and that's, I think, gets lost a bit sometimes.
Yeah. No, I agree. It does definitely get lost sometimes. But anyway, let's move on from that.
Yep.
What's our next topic of course, Kieran? How long we got left? 60 minutes. Do you want to go through some questions, or do you want to?
Do a few Q&As. We could always touch on the topic if we've got time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do a nice little Q&A.
Yeah.
So we did an Instagram poll on questions for us. I'm gonna ask you this one first, Kieran, because I'm interested.
Do you want to do one of yours and I'll do one of mine?
Yeah, do that.
Should I get mine on my phone or?
You can do if you want.
Yeah. How to get around this?
Or do you want to? No. Yeah.
Good.
Right. Okay. Right. The ship of thesis. Are you aware of this?
No, not a clue.
Maybe the viewer at home might not be aware of this, so we'll go through it, and they might have an opinion as well.
Okay.
Comment down below. The ship of thesis. Right. So you got a ship. It's a warship, right? It's got all the original parts. It's got all the same wooden panels, the cannons, the sails, the crew, right? It goes off to war, right? It takes a bit of a beating. It loses a few crew members. It loses some wooden panels and stuff. They've got to be replaced. This process happens again and again and again until the point where it's a completely new set of crew, and all the ship has been fully refurbished since the original ship. Is it a new ship or is it the same ship?
It's still the same framework, is it not?
I don't know, you tell me.
Well, I guess are they replacing every single bit?
Everything's been replaced.
Everything's been replaced.
Everything's been replaced.
Well, is it all done at the same time that every bit, or is it over a
No,
process?
over a process.
So I think it's the same ship because them new pieces were a part of the previous, were part of the original ship.
Yeah.
And became the new original, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think that is still the original ship.
Yeah, but no, there has been some piece. All of it's been replaced though.
It has all been replaced, but not all at once.
Yeah.
So if it was, say, for example, you just took it all, like if you pull the whole building down and put a new one up, that's a new building.
Yeah.
But you've actually taken the toilet out of the building and put a new toilet in, but that's still part of that same building. So that is that building.
Yeah.
So you kind of replaced the rooms.
But everything's been replaced.
Yeah, but it's all been replaced at once.
I agree with you. I just wanted to press your buttons.
If you knock the whole building, I know we're going from ship to building. If you knock the whole boat down, collapsed it, and everything was put back, like the planks were put back in the plank section, the bolts were put back in the bolts.
New planks, new bolts though.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But and then you fully put it back together, and it was nothing, and it's now fully formed. That is a new ship. But if it was bit by bit, that is the old ship.
No, I somewhat agree in that it is technically it is a fully new ship, but it was the same ship that has the same. It's like your brain, because your body changes over time. You get your skin cells get replaced and
they do,
and
but it's still
grows.
one of the body.
But it's like your brain, isn't it? It's like you still carry the same memories. It's like the ship has it's still got the same experiences. You know what I mean? Like spiritually.
We're spending far too much time on this. If you your body, you lost your arm, so you got a bionic arm. Yeah. That's still you, and over time you've had like a bionic leg, and everything was bionic in the end. Yeah. It was you. It was based on you. It was happening to you. Like that arm became part of my body. But I don't know why we're talking about this still. This is a stupid question. So I just want to stop there. I was going to move to the next thing.
Right, it's possibly a new ship. Right, what?
I reckon it's the original ship if it's done bit by bit.
All right,
that's my.
Spiritually, the same ship. Right, what have you got a question?
Yes,
I've got a few more, but we'll go back and forth.
So this is a good one. This was from Sam, but I don't know if he's referring to, because he's probably seen it on like Fuad Abias podcast. I don't know if he's referring to that or this is another question which I've seen also. So toilet roll over and under. I'm going to give you both. So do you wipe under or round, or do you go? And also then the other one is the toilet left with the toilet paper rolled down or rolled back and under?
I'd say if it was on the hanger, it would be rolled over it, so it's closer to me. Yeah.
Because at hotels they do like a nice little
fold, turn into a little swan or something.
Yeah.
If let's say for example it's a regular shit, right, and I'm wiping, then obviously back to front, but in the scenario...
No, but do you go through your legs or do you go around?
Oh, around.
That's the question, yeah.
Sometimes I might stand up a tiny bit and lean forward.
Yeah. I'm the same as you. I'm a reach around.
Yeah. But let's say, for example, it was like a sloppy shit, though.
Yeah.
Right, and it smears up. It goes to the back a little bit.
Well, it costs a drastic. You're like, where's the wipes?
I might have to do like a half wipe back to front.
Yeah. I'm not saying back to front. Just do you go through?
Oh,
the
just
legs
under or over?
around? Yeah.
How would one possibly go
Some
under
people
that?
do. Stand up, lean over.
Some people do that.
Yeah, yeah. Some people just get the parents to come in and turn around and lean over, don't they?
Well, I'm glad we cleared that one up.
Yeah.
What else have I got? Biggest fitness myths to you: exercise, supplements, foods. Got any big myths that you want to?
Big myths. I don't know. I don't know if it's a myth, but I think like supplementation can be a bit of a myth in terms of what's needed. And to be honest, you don't necessarily need any of it. You can get everything through
Naturally,
your food and diet.
Yeah.
But it would be silly to not acknowledge that there's things that benefit.
Yeah.
Like creatine.
Yeah.
Using
Yeah.
whey protein's great for you to get protein to a diet and
Yeah.
make meals easier. But in terms of myths, I don't know, have you got any?
Fitness myths. I think just in the general one of like what dieting means. In terms
When
of
people hear
like,
diet, they always think fat loss, don't they?
Yeah,
But
like
diet's just a summary of what you're doing.
yeah, but in terms of fat loss, like what it means to achieve fat loss, it means I need to eat less. I need to be hungry. I need to be constantly.
Yeah.
I need to be doing lots of cardio. I need to be doing.
The assumption that's going to be an extreme.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
extreme. Like I need to be hungry all the time. I need to completely give up the burger and chips. I need to completely give up a bit of alcohol now and then.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
It is a myth.
that is a myth.
And
Like,
it also, it's contextual, isn't it? Like, if you got a competitor, for example, you could probably still get in shape. Well, you definitely could. But for the goal you have at the end of it, it's like, why would you put any of it up to risk? Like,
Yeah.
you decide to do something, you want to go
in
all in on the spot.
competitive scenarios,
Yeah.
I'd
If
say
it's,
it's a bit of a different ball game. Yeah.
a lifestyle, a dad, a mum, a student, it'd be unrealistic to think like they have to be on
Yeah.
point with everything all the time and not be able to have a balance. Because at the end of the day, you've got to ask them why they're doing it for.
Yeah.
Like, they want to be in shape, they want to feel good,
course.
and that means enjoying life as well. And
Yeah.
sometimes food comes into that.
I think as well, just on a side note there, I'm not sure people understand sometimes the jump from casual dieting and muscle gaining to what competing is.
Yeah.
Like it's drastic.
Oh, it's so different. But
It's-
it's like going from...
It's a different ball game
Well,
to
it's
me.
like going from an amateur footballer to
Yeah.
professional footballer. You
Yeah.
have to change your approach about everything because the levels are higher that you're
Yeah.
entering at.
So I think competing is sometimes glamorized
It
to
is.
a certain extent. Like I think you see a lot on social media about what all the good days and stuff like that. You see people enjoying the nice post-workout urban burger or whatever post-meal, and,
Yeah.
you look at it and go, "That looks great." They
I
look.
can't wait to get to the end.
They look mint.
Yeah.
They look in shape. They're
Yeah.
enjoying burgers. Like, oh, it's just that must be really rewarding. But then what you're not seeing is that they've just had
They've just
the
killed themselves
200th
to get
day
to
in a
that
row
point. Yeah,
of
yeah.
doing the same thing.
Yeah,
like
half to 3/4 of the year has been
Yeah.
taken just focusing
you've got to love it, haven't you? To
You do,
compete.
but that's the whole thing, like the destination of the process, the journey, if you like.
Yeah.
A lot of people like the destination and the end result,
Yeah.
and they see the glamorous side of that,
Yeah.
but they don't see all the tough days,
Don't get me
the
wrong.
self-doubt.
It
throughout
is.
it all.
I speak of competing quite negatively. Just not because I had a negative experience, but because maybe just like I feel like a lot of people don't know what they're getting themselves into. However, I don't never regret competing because
Teaches you a lot.
oh God, fucking hell, does it? Like I
Yeah.
thought, like if I could do this for 30 weeks, I can do fucking anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it felt like I could. That anything else in life would be a fucking breeze compared to this kind of thing.
That's the thing. I absolutely love it. So, and it's not that we both don't enjoy like the training side of it. It's just the things that we get out of it we enjoy a bit differently. So I think it's just, as you say, it's glamorized. So I think if you're gonna do it, you have to want to do it. Like I think a lot of people like the idea and they kind of they feel pushed to do it because it looks good for them. Whereas like it's the sport is about people who love it and people that want to live it. And
Yeah.
if you don't like all the aspects that come with it, and even like going as far back as like an off season, as sticking to an off season, getting a bit uncomfortable.
Harder than prepping in some aspects.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Mentally it is, and so if you don't like that, then it's not the thing.
Yeah.
But it's
I think with like an off season, a lot of people struggle with going back to sort of like gaining muscle. Is that pushing yourself to a point of being uncomfortable is quite difficult for a lot of people.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I
As
don't
in,
think
like-
people really like either end of the spectrum for the most part.
Yeah, it's
Or-
like they like the first 8 weeks of bulking because they're eating more
Yeah.
food and stuff, but then maybe when the calories start to get a little bit harder and stuff, and it's like, what I've got to get all this food in. It's like,
through life. Like
if you want to gain muscle, you got to somewhat put yourself in an uncomfortable state for a period of time, not a long period of time, but you know, you're going to gain probably the most muscle when you're the strongest, and when you're at your peak strength and you're able to really pump out some numbers in the gym and do that on a consistent.
From what you're doing as well, can't you?
Yeah, I think it's like pushing yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit, both ways, I guess, with dieting and gaining favours.
Yeah, I think what bodybuilding is extremes of both sides of that together.
Yeah,
and a lot of people probably don't like them extremes. Yeah, but they don't need to be if they're not. That's not the goal. Yeah, you know. And I think that what a lot of people will see on social media is that is what it is to get in shape for a holiday. When actually it's not. It's two different things. Like for me, if I was prepping for a holiday, which I never would probably do again now unless there's a real reason to do it, but I'd have an off-plan meal every single week. Like,
for a holiday,
I'm not torturing myself this holiday.
Yeah,
I want to enjoy. I want to feel a bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, even now I wouldn't do it because I think when people extremely diet for it as well, it's like, like you're doing fantastic and you can document it, but if you then go all out on holiday, like you put it back on, it can leave you quite in a depressive state after.
Yeah,
definitely. You just kind of have some that in a week.
Yeah. Especially if you open yourself up to like an all-inclusive at the end of like, if you do 8 to 12 weeks of hard dieting, then you open yourself to an all-inclusive. It's like,
well,
you're going all in. You're not going to hold back here.
With like all-inclusives now, like I'm quite like, I don't feel the need to have everything. I just want to. I pick the foods. Like if I don't, I used to be the kind of person that. Right, fat shit. Like I'd eat it, and even if I didn't like it that much, I'd still finish it. Whereas now, like if I don't like it, just leave it. It's just a bit of maturity.
My advice to anyone going on all inclusives is, as Neil Warnock would say, by all means enjoy it, but enjoy yourself by being fucking disciplined right here. In terms of like if you want to go out and have an alcoholic drink and stuff each night, no problem. The way that you fuck up an all inclusive is you, instead of having breakfast, lunch, and tea. You have 3 breakfasts, you have 2 lunches and 3 teas.
And then there's all the snacks in between.
Yeah.
Just to make sure you're not hungry.
It's like if you just have a breakfast of what you want, a lunch of what you want, and a tea of what you want, I don't think it's like the end of the world. It's like if you go up for tea and it's like I'm gonna have pizza to start, I'm gonna have chips and meat and more pizza for second course. Yeah. I'm gonna have another bit of pizza for third course, and then I'm gonna have a bowl of ice cream. Like that's where you're opening yourself up to failure, aren't you?
That's the thing with that is as well, and I've learned this well myself the last couple of years. I tell clients like, look forward to the holiday for the holiday, not because it's just for the food. Like, a lot of people like for social events as well. They're like, oh, I can't wait to eat. Like, no, you should be looking forward to meeting the people and seeing your friends and having a catch up. So that's for me where last prep was successful because I still went to everything. But I didn't see it as like, oh, we're off to restaurants, I have to eat. I'm off to see my family, I'm off to see my friends, and I could be present. And I actually enjoyed it. And that's the one thing with prep last year that I'll say is that I was present for all of it. And it made me enjoy it even more, and that's why I can't.
Not wishing for it to end.
No, because I didn't have that outlook. What we do in the UK, and the UK is bad for it, is that everything we do is associated with food or coffee, like and it's not necessarily a bad thing like having a coffee now, but coffee then comes with like a little bit of cake, and it's always associated with an element of food. So it's having like being able to have an outlook on social events as I'm off to socialise. This is to see people and spend time with them, not think, oh, it's just like a food event. Yeah, and it's not that.
Yeah. It's tough one.
Another question?
Was it my question or your question?
Was it your question?
It's my question. I asked the myth one, didn't I?
Yeah, that's kind of gone off on a massive tangent.
Yeah, well.
We've kind of gone about how you go about an off-plan meal just then, haven't we?
Yeah.
So, pros and cons of being an online coach.
Pros and cons of being an online coach?
Yeah. Maybe let's just narrow it down and say one thing you love about it and one thing that you know is the con that we find hard.
What do I mean, to be fair, the pros definitely outweigh the cons.
Massively. That's what we'll do it.
Massively, yeah. I can thoroughly say that I love doing what I do.
Pick one thing though that's like a big pro.
I'd say a massive one is like when you get a message from a client or they achieve like a certain goal that they've been trying to achieve for a long time. Yeah. And it's hard not to be like, just like buzzing for them. Yeah. Not in a cheesy way, not trying to like show that I'm all client orientated kind of thing. But it's true. You're like fucking. I'm chuffed for you right now. Like I am really pleased for you. On a non-client thing that I love is just sort of dictating your own time, really.
Yeah.
Just sort of choosing your own schedule. Yeah. Even though my schedule's not that far off a 9 to 5, to be honest. Because I do sort of treat it as a 9 to 5, and I still train after 5 and stuff. Yeah. Like, I think when I first got into online coaching, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to train whenever I want, and I'm just going to do this and
but
I'm going to do that.
But actually, day works better training later.
Yeah. What about you?
A pro would be, like, and again, it's without sounding cheesy, but is knowing what a client's come from and gone through, and then finally got that result, and like being a part of that journey and seeing it unfold. Because there's a lot of people that you get the lower confidence, the life is just not how they want it to be, and then actually going through a physique progression and then embracing the gym and the community gym, and then the life actually is lived so differently after. And that's like where, for me, training becomes more than just about the physique. It's about how you approach everything, how you feel. So it is a bit more on the emotional side of it, but seeing someone go through that and come out the other side is like one of the most proudest and pleasing and satisfying moments as a coach you can get. In terms of like you say, a business pro, it's like I say, living life by your timeline. Although you would have check-ins to make sure you get done, then we can do that. Like, we're lucky to be able to do that from home and whatever. But yeah, being able to live life by my schedule is kind of like the professional kind of. It's
definitely a feel. So I think we have pretty much just about run out of time. So we'll wrap this up.
Wrap this one up.
Wrap this up there, Kieran. Well,
a good one.
I enjoyed doing that. Did you?
I enjoyed it. I hope everyone likes it. It's the first one.
Everyone at home enjoyed it.
And if everyone says it's shit, we'll do another one anyway.
Yeah, fuck yourself. This is our podcast. It's
been a pleasure.
So yeah, cool. Well, this was Fraser and Kieran versus. For now, that's the name we're going with for now. If anyone has got any better name suggestions, then let us know.
Or the QuadCast.
Yeah. Or the QuadCast.
We'll do a poll.
Yeah, we'll do a poll. QuadCast or Fraser and Kieran versus. But yeah, thanks for your time, Kieran.
Thank you for having me, Fraser.
It's all right.
No, it's been good. I loved it.
Yeah, it's been good. Right, cool. We'll catch you in the next one.
See you later.